Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys are having a great Wednesday. This is another I'm a blind accessibility specialist. Ask Me Anything. This has been a very popular series that was just started last month and I figured I'd bring it back. So super excited to get started. Let's see, I'm just checking the chat. Okay. So yeah, let's see if anyone's here. If you are here, go ahead and say hi in the chat. I think I'm streaming on Twitch as well. Make sure. Let me see. Hold on a second. Like I said, I'll just get started in just a minute or so. Okay. Making sure I'm on Twitch. Nope. Okay. For some reason, Twitch did not fire. That's okay. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. If you're in chat, say hi. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this party started. Let's see. I have a couple questions that I collected through Mastodon and other platforms. So we will handle that real quick. If I can actually find my window. Okay. So a couple questions I have. Seems like these come up every month. What do I do if I get sued for accessibility? Look, this has been happening more and more. This week I've had to deal with 4 or 5 lawsuits. Guys, this is not something you want to be messing around with. So what I would do is I would first figure out, okay, who's suing you? That's very important. A lot of times these lawyers will sue over 100 or more websites at a time. And these are known as, if I could say the word correctly, frivolous lawsuits. Frivolous lawsuits are very, very bad. They sue businesses that they frankly have no affiliation with, and what they do is they get these blind people who are innocent and they literally put them on the plaintiff. What I mean by that is it would be one thing if these lawyers' names were on the plaintiff, basically the one that's, being sued, or sorry, that's suing you, the plaintiff. It would be one thing if it was like the lawyer's name, but they're actually using legit blind people's names, like mine. Of course, they're not using mine because I refuse to fall in that trap. But a lot of blind people don't even know that they're being used as the target. And so what happens is that they, get this job as like an accessibility auditor, and then all of a sudden they're basically helping to sue random companies that they didn't even know, and then their name is all over the web. So that's why, like, job seekers and things, you gotta be careful. But the point being is that they use these blind people's names because it actually makes it sound better than if it was just a lawyer's name. And so, of course, if it's from a frivolous lawyer, which chances are it is, then you got to figure out, okay, I could probably fight this. But you have to fight it strategic, because if you fight it in the wrong way, you could lose. So here are the steps that I recommend. Step 1, find an attorney. That's really, really the most important thing, is find an attorney. You do not want to be fighting this by yourself. Yes, you do not want to be fighting this by yourself, as I'm getting a phone call. Hold on a second. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Sorry about that. I keep getting phone calls and it's really annoying. Okay. So, first you figure out, again, if you are being targeted, chances are you are. You find an attorney. Very important to find an attorney. There's a lot of different attorneys out there, so make sure that you find one that is reputable. I don't know that I personally have a whole lot of recommendations. Pacific Trial Attorneys are pretty good out of California, but I haven't worked with a whole lot of law firms. Actually, the law firm that I work with primarily is only one law firm, so I don't really have a whole lot of them that I work with. But yeah, Pacific Trial Attorneys is a good, reputable one. But do your research. Try to figure out which ones are going to be good. Now, a couple other things you should do is you should try to find a company like mine or others to help test your website. Folks, you can't just let these accessibility lawsuits just, run away from you. Meaning you can't just not do anything about them. Because if you do, what will happen is they will actually come back to haunt you later and you will be in a worse condition. Meaning that you will be in a problem state a couple months down the road or a couple weeks down the line, because if you don't respond, they can just forfeit and then make you lose the lawsuit, basically saying, oh, it's a one-sided thing, so congratulations, you got our money. These lawsuits could put small businesses out of business. I've seen these things put small businesses out of business. And the most unlikely lawsuit targets are probably going to get hit. For example, like a car dealership or other things. Guys, I've seen this happen before, and you don't want it to happen to you. So, number one, make sure you have an attorney. Number two, make sure you have an action plan. So, read through the letter carefully, the demand letter, and try to fulfill that. Like I said, find a company who can help test your website and defend you in court. Because they will be able to say, hey, yes, this website's actually accessible and it's been tested by blind people, like myself or others, and here is what you need to do, right? I have had to deal with this multiple times, and this is really, really important that you deal with this now and you deal with it promptly. So, now you figured out, okay, great, I gotta go to court. So, once you gotta go to court, you gotta figure out, okay, so I'm gonna have this company, right, and I'm gonna have my attorneys, and then, of course, they're gonna have their side. Chances are, if you've got a good team behind you, you can win these lawsuits, but it may cost a lot of money. And so the thing is that you really want to prevent the lawsuit in the first place. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But you really, really, really want to make sure that you're not going to lose, because we don't want your business out of business. That really saddens me when I see businesses out of business in terms of when they have these lawsuits. Guys, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. It really saddens me. So, like I said, I think you can, most of the time you can fight it. You just have to have a good lawyer and a good team ahead of you. Now, I'm going to say this is not official legal advice, and I talk to your legal counsel because I am not a certified lawyer. I am just an expert witness and accessibility specialist. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, another thing that you need to do is you need to go ahead and try to prevent another lawsuit. You're thinking, well, this isn't going to happen to me again, is it? Sure is, most of the time. The thing is that I've seen companies get sued 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 times. Y'all, that's just not cool. And I mean, the average disability lawsuit is $15,000. That's crazy. $15,000. You do not want to have that every time that you get sued. So, what would you do? Well, if you don't want to have this happen again, remember, contact a company like mine or other accessibility companies. Get on a path of remediation. Remediation basically means that you are fixing the issues that you have, and then you're going to then be on a path where you're monitoring the site every 6 to 12 months, preferably 6, and then that way you can actually keep tabs on what's going on, right? You can keep tabs on how things are going, and you can keep tabs on if your website's performing, and that way if you do get sued, then the accessibility company can help you defend you in court. And they also will provide, if they're a good one, they'll provide a legal letter of conformance, or a letter basically saying that this website's accessible and you're da, da, da. It's a pretty lengthy document. So just keep that in mind, is that you really want to prevent these things. Now, how much can an audit cost? That's a good thing. Really, you want to find a company that can do it at the most effective price, right? Because you don't want to be paying too much. So if you're a small business, don't go with like the huge players like Level Access or others who will charge $25,000 per year just for their platform. Go with like a smaller company like mine or other companies who maybe can give you a better rate, because I try to give the best rate that I can to all my small businesses, because I know that you're in small business, you're not a lawyer, and you're not have to deal with this accessibility stuff. But the thing is that now you have to deal with it because you want to make sure that you are preventative. Preventative. If I can say the words right. Here's a little case study. So I have a client, VDI Manufacturing. Check them out. They're in Michigan. And they wanted to make sure their website didn't get sued, of course, right? They didn't want to get sued. So they went ahead and said, hey, Taylor, let's go ahead and, test their website. Tested the website. I worked with a web designer. We fixed all the issues. And I gave them a statement saying, hey, this is accessible, yada, yada, yada. And now they're totally fine. They're getting more customers than ever. So not only can accessibility help with like not getting sued, but you could get more customers than ever. So please, 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 like start considering accessibility now. All right. Let me check my chats. Logic Pro X Gaming says, good evening. Haven't been able to make a stream in a while. Well, thank you so much for being here. Sorry I missed your chat because I was trying to talk about these questions here, but thank you for being here. And I want to talk to you about some Minecraft stuff later, so we'll have to arrange that. But anyways, yeah, thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. So I guess another thing that I have from people on Mastodon and others is, why do I care, or should I care about accessibility? Well, the answer to this question is you need to care about accessibility because accessibility can help you be more competitive in the marketplace, of course, and it can help you to be more efficient in terms of getting customers and dealing with them and being more discoverable online. Folks, if you make your website accessible now, then Google and search engines will love you because they're easier for them to parse as well. So accessibility doesn't just help us, it helps everyone involved. Okay, so let's see here. A couple other questions. Kind of a light chat tonight, which is okay because I want to, I've had a long day. So, another question that I had on Mastodon is, why do I need an accessibility overlay? I may need to go get a drink for this one because it's going to be a long segment. So, accessibility overlays. Guys, just don't use them. For whatever you do, for the love of, what, just don't use overlays. Overlays are terrible and they make your life living heck. Y'all, you've got better things to do than to try to fight with these overlay companies, because look, they will not defend you in a lawsuit like I talked about earlier. And they will also make the experience worse for the users. So don't use these accessibility overlay companies no matter what anybody tells you, because this is coming from somebody who is a blind user and who does accessibility for a living. I have a true story about this, and I keep mentioning it. I lived in Michigan for my whole life, and I went on my own to find an apartment, of course. And, my apartment complex decided one month to install an overlay. Guys, they couldn't get rent for a month because it wasn't accessible. So the fact is that these stupid overlays actually make your sites worse. Don't use them. They will actually make them worse, and they will be making you more vulnerable to lawsuits. So answer this for me in chat. Do you want to be more vulnerable to lawsuits and you love dealing with court and lawyers? Don't think so. So Don't use accessibility overlays because they make your life worse. They are absolutely terrible. The thing you have to realize is that these accessibility overlays that everybody thinks are great are not good at all. There's a whole bunch of capitalistic companies, which I'm fine with that, and a whole bunch of companies with too much money on their hands and that promote and say accessibility overlays, fix your site in one line of code. Don't do it. Like I said, you will be vulnerable to lawsuits and it will not be a good day for you. So, what do you do instead? Well, you do the manual remediation path, right? So you have users who are blind and have other disabilities, and then you go ahead and work on the website to fix the issues that way. That is the best way to fix the issues using manual remediation, but also to get the site accessible, compliant, and usable, right? So we always talk about usability is different than accessibility. Accessibility overlays don't make the website usable, they don't make it accessible, and they make it not even compliant. So don't do it. Man, I'm running out of questions here. I'm trying to look at my list. I'm honestly finding this a short one. The only other thing I'll say here is that accessibility overlays, like I said, very, very unimportant. In terms of like alternative text, make sure that you have alternative text that describes the image properly. Honestly, like I said, this is a shorter stream, and that's all the questions I had. But I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will be in Level Access conference tomorrow, so I got to get prepared for that. So I will talk to you guys